In a sea of gray, you're in red.
I know. It
Well
worked out
done.
right, huh?
Casey and her team do a great job. The team here at MVNO Nation doing a great job as well. This event is very different and unique. You know, when you think about the collection of leaders, the amount of knowledge that you're able to gain from these sessions is really it's inspiring for most of us. But we're hearing some very similar concerns. We're hearing some very similar advice and counsel coming from everybody in the industry, from the MNOs to MVNOs. What we're hearing is that what used to work doesn't work today. What we're hearing today is that we have to do more. We keep hearing buzzwords like differentiate and find your cohort and find your group, find your community, build those things. The question that we're all trying to answer, even at the MNO level, is how do we do that today, right? And so for me, a couple of things. This year, I celebrate 30 years in telecom. Now, I know you guys are sitting there saying, look, there's no way a guy as tall and thin and young as you is celebrating 30 years in telecom. There's no way, but I am. I was hatched in HR 30 years ago at Cincinnati Bell. And Cincinnati Bell was an MNO. It was the leading MNO in the territory. It had the market share lead. And at the time, as many of you will remember, it was so expensive. It required an army of engineers who were deploying towers and getting spectrum. And that was such a unique proposition for people who were copper and landline based. But ultimately, the secret, as we kind of look backwards over time now, is that it was actually easier to acquire the customer. You see, because then if you built the network, if you put a device in a customer's hands, they were paying us as much as we could get. You know, they were trying to acquire them quicker than we could turn them on. Then it was easy. You know, at that time, the old saying, build it and they will come. Well, it worked for Kevin Costner in a baseball field in Iowa, and it worked 30 years ago. But today it's different. Today, what we're finding as you get in this room is everybody is trying to figure it out, or they all have figured it out, and they figured it out enough to say, I want to buy from you, or I want to sell to you, right? And so we're all trying to put all of these pieces together. What worked in the baseball field in Iowa no longer works today. And so how do we get from this concept of differentiation to actually getting into market? And what does success look like? Trying to find for ourselves and define what success looks like. We saw Ryan Reynolds, and we always hear about the Mint deal. And so who's going to be the next one that gets 1 million subscribers and sells that to the carrier? How do you get to that point? The real answer is how do you get to 100,000? Right? How do you get to a couple 100,000? And we saw leaders like Peter Adderton yesterday. He did amazing things with Boost. He's done amazing things. He's building something really special with Mobile X. But what you heard him say is it's a grind. What you heard him say is that what used to work doesn't work today. What you heard him say is we're investing in things to try to differentiate ourselves. Things like their app and their subscriber experience. What you hear from folks like Love Mobile saying, I'm trying to build community. What you hear from the carrier is they're saying, look, it's easy to come up with an idea. It's easy to come up with a TikTok hook and those types of things that might get somebody's attention for a few seconds. You might even have people that are capable of getting in front of customers and selling that idea. But how do you sustain it? How do you continue to be able to count those things? How do you make it a frictionless process for your customers? How do you have an unassisted sale? How do you have unassisted support? How do you have the back end of those things working together in concert? How do you put together a team of experts, folks who have been in the industry for a while, new voices and new expressions of community and togetherness? How do you put all of that together? Well, the answer is that it's work, and it's hard work. It's a grind every day. Each of you know that. Each of us have come to this place and we've all experienced it. We go back to our separate places when we leave Miami, and it's a grind. It's a grind every day. Another call about a port. Another call about, an eSIM not loading. We all get those questions. Another call about somebody in your distribution channel that's doing fraud or spam, those kinds of things. The next thing that's coming from the FCC or one of the channels that just adds complexity. It's like, how many more of these whack-a-moles can we hit? And so for us, what we have done at Telgu 5 is start to pull those things together. I sit in sort of an interesting spot. I said I started my career at Cincinnati Bell Telephone way back when. So I was at the carrier side. I left and I went to an IXC, an inter-exchange carrier, and we were faced with this decision. Do we buy an MVNO or do we build an MVNO? What we knew at that time was that we were losing access lines. What we knew at that time is we were trying to guard against churn. We were trying to produce a bundle that would allow us to differentiate ourselves in the market and sell more. Ultimately, we bought an MVNO. It already had its registrations. It was already in the market. It already had carrier relationships, all those pieces. And so we put those together. Ultimately, we sold that off. Later, I was a part of an aggregator. And so while I was there, we were looking around and we had to find somebody that got us. We had to find somebody that was nimble enough, that owned their own code, somebody that could help us figure out things that we thought we knew all the answers to. And so that company for me was Telgu 5. I was a customer for 10 years. I was the largest customer for 10 years. And then I joined over here as a partner 5 years ago. What customers are increasingly asking us for is something that's turnkey. You hear that in every room, you hear it in every conversation. I want a light touch, I want a light lift. But what you also hear in those exact same conversations is that I also want to be able to do it myself. I want APIs, I want to be able to stand this up, I want to be able to plug it into my app, I want to be able to plug it into my own single pane of glass for payments and those types of things. And so customers are asking for both of those. And what that is, if you dig just a little bit deeper, is we're talking about a crawl, walk, run strategy. What we're talking about is standing something up that we can get in market with, because it's expensive to market and get in front of customers. It's expensive to buy that voice. And so we're looking to stand it up in a very light lift. But later, I might want to pull some of those things into my platform. Later, I want to get a little bit more sophisticated. I want to add my own flair. I want to add my own flavor, as you heard Love Mobile talking about. And so for us at Telgu 5, that's exactly what we have deployed. We've been in business for 20 years. Ultimately, what we have built is a platform that is those things. We sit at a horizontal level where we're providing a wholesale enablement layer to most of the aggregators. We have clients who are directly connected to each of the carriers. So think of that as T-Mobile and Verizon and AT&T. We cover all of those today. We also cover all of the aggregators. That's at a horizontal level. But below that now, what we have is an industry-leading turnkey solution. This is everything from a frictionless buy flow, so a customer can go online, they can be presented their QR codes, it'll create, it will handle all of the tax calculations. We're plugged into your payment gateways, we're plugged into your carrier, we're plugged into your branding, your words, your story, your community, your differentiation. We get that. And so the result is that we've created a scenario that means that you can quickly bring up your MVNO. Maybe you've already launched a solution, and you're sitting here saying, man, I've already got that stuff figured out. Where we have gone a little bit further is we've done things like validation. So do you have the other products? Do we need to provision other services that you have already deployed for your differentiation? Telgu 5 is there. Are you finding a cohort and a niche in the enterprise space or the SMB space? Well, Telgu 5 has an enterprise platform. Do you have other products and services that you're trying to add together? That's where we come. We've got an inventory platform, shipping and logistics. But what we've also done to make it easy and a light lift for your team is we already have device relationships. So keeping those devices off of your inventory. Again, 30 years ago, you were sitting on $1 million worth of inventory that every day was worth just a little bit less. It depreciated. Now we have just-in-time inventory, so it's not sitting on your books, and that's not part of the capital that you're spending. We have device financing. We have device protection. We have device trade-in. We have all of those elements in one place where your customer is able to do it. We also have the full turnkey billing platform as well that allows your agents to answer those questions quickly. You're able to bifurcate and you're able to tell those individual groups separately. So maybe you had this group selling this product and you can give them a completely different plan, rating, charging. You can charge them differently, dunning, it's time to collect those. All of that is covered. And that sounds easy. Well, let me let you in on another secret. It's a grind. What we're doing is just like you, we're grinding. We've got the technicians, we have the engineers, we've got the code writers who are doing all of that hard work so that you can focus on the hard work of acquiring your customer, so that you can do the hard work of negotiating the best rates with the carrier. bring them into your vision. What we provide then is the conduit to bring those customers in to you as an MVNO and bring those dollars into you as the business. And so as you think about Telgu 5, there's really four pillars to this thing. If you're going to grind, it's product, it's people, it's placement, and ultimately it's the performance of those. There's a clicker up here somewhere. There it is. And so as you think about those four pillars, that's what we help you bring together. And so let's see here. Next. Unimportant. Look at me, don't look at the slides. So at the end of the day, how do you bring the product together? You're coming up with great whiz-bang, terrific ideas that are differentiated. What we've got is a product catalog in the background that will present that catalog to the right people at the right time. What does that mean? That means that you can have different offers for small and medium business, enterprise, for your corporate clients, for your VIPs, and for your consumers, be that prepaid or postpaid, IoT. And so we help you bring that together on the product side. And then you have to start to think about the other pieces. What about things like promotions? What about rating and charging? We've got a whole series of coupon codes and promotions. Buy one, sell one, refer a friend, earn a free month, get a free month. All those things, you're able to determine that. But the people are important. How do your people support this? And the platform is there to make it easy and give the information right at their fingertips. And then ultimately the placement. We have the tools that allow you to go out, whether that's on the web, an unassisted sale or assisted. We have dealer portals where they can buy from you wholesale and sell that out. Retail, they've got a wallet. And so we have you covered whatever your distribution model is. And again, at the end of the day, let's be real for just a moment. As we get in here, we all have figured out all of the answers, right? No. Otherwise, why would we be here? And so what we're doing is we're trying to figure out what's the right mix of people, what's the right mix of vendors. As you think about setting it up, you've gone through all of this trials and so forth with the FCC. The next, you picked the raw good, you picked just the right carrier. Now you have to turn that into a product. Telgu 5 is a vendor that helps you accomplish that so that you can launch quickly. It's affordable. It helps you get out there and cover those four pillars of what it takes to grind out in the community while we grind in the background, providing a great product for you real time today. This is a product and service that helps you get there. And so if you'd like to learn a little bit more than that, we're over here. I would tell you that the beauty of this conference is that it's a networking time. So more even than the people who are up here on the stage, the networking time is where really the magic happens. And so you're going to be released right after this to go and spend some of that networking time. We'll be in there as well. And so as you think about what it takes to grind and get to the next level, feel free to stop by, talk to somebody at the Telgu 5 booth. Let us help you get in the market to cover those four pillars and reach your community, differentiate yourself, and get connected to one of these great carriers in the room here today. So thank you again for your time. We appreciate everything you guys are doing, and you are now released for coffee and networking time. Have a great rest of the show, guys.